Hello friends, myself Kumar Vaidyanathan, practicing in all service laws. Service laws would include all labor legislations and any dispute or litigation which is coming within the purview of the relation of employer and employee. And today I have been invited by Disha Foundation to share my thoughts and few experiences with you all with regard to the topic industrial and labor code in particular. I thank Disha Foundation and Sally Karnik for the opportunity given to me, and within the time allotted to me I will try to cover on this topic. Thank you friends. Now straight away let me go to the topic. I would deal with certain main laws which are in the field of litigation today. One is the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and you have the MRTU and Pulp Act 1971. MRTU and Pulp Act, the full form would be Maharashtra Recognition of Trade Unions and Prevention of Unfair Labour Practice. Now these two acts are very important and they are in the process where the litigations are being filed under this particular act. First let me deal with the MRTU and Pulp Act 1971. The MRTU and Pulp Act 1971 states what is an industrial code at section 4 and the duties of industrial code is given in section 5. It also states what is a labor code in section 6 and the duties of labor code in section 7, and section 25 deals with reference of labor code for declaration whether a strike or a lockout is illegal. Section 30 also deals with the power of labor and industrial code, and section 38 power of labor code in relation to offences. Section 40 power of labor code in relation to offences. Section 43 power of industrial code, and section 44 industrial code has to exercise superintendence over the labor codes. Now duties of industrial code, which is under section 5 of the MRTU and Pulp Act, provides that the industrial code has to provide a recognition for a union, or it can cancel the existing recognition in an application made by a fresh union. Now this is one of the important feature of the industrial code provided under the MRTU and Pulp Act. Now what is recognition? I would like to explain to you in very brief. Recognition would mean that the particular union would be having the power to negotiate in respect of collective disputes. Like for example, we have a recognized union in the textile sector, which is the Rashtriya Mill Mazdoor Sangh. And same way, if a company is engaged in any activities covered in the BIR Act, that is Bombay Industrial Relation Act, Mill Mazdoor Sabha would be the recognized union. Now, when a union gets a recognition status, it enjoys certain privileges, it has certain duties. The main purpose of MRTU and Pulp Act is that the industrial code gives this recognition certificate to a union based on certain criteria which is prescribed in the act. This is one of the most important feature of MRTU and Pulp Act. Now this is to facilitate that there is no mushrooming of unions and the company deals with one union and multiplicity of union is avoided, and the biggest union or the union which has got the maximum majority and which gets the certificate of recognition deals in resolving the dispute, and when a company refuses to bargain collectively with the recognized union, it is considered as an unfair labor practice. Now friends, this act, MRTU and Pulp Act, also provides unfair labor practice. Unfair labor practice are mainly into 4 schedules. You can check out what are the unfair labor practice in the act. Now labor code deals with item 1 schedule 4 of the unfair labor practice, and industrial code deals with the other aspects. This is a very phenomenal act, a fantastic act which actually provides interim relief to the parties who are having a grievance, and I would request you all to go through MRTU and Pulp Act once. Now the second important act in which the Labour and Industrial Court is connected with is the Industrial Dispute Act. Now, Industrial Dispute Act has got a section of definitions. Every act has definition sections. Now, in that section 2J deals with the term industry. Industry would mean, in order to understand the term industry, it is better that you try to understand the ratio given in the judgment of Bangalore water supply case. Bangalore water supply case has given triple test. Very simple. The triple tests are that there has to be a systematic activity. The systematic activity has to be done by the employer and employee. The systematic activity which is being done by the employer and employee needs to be for the satisfaction of human wants. Now, these three things, if the ingredients are complied with, that particular establishment or a place or a business or a calling would be termed as an industry. Now, let me give you a practical example, friends. Now, housing society, a residential housing society would not be an industry. There is a Supreme Court judgment of Somvihar Cooperative Housing Society, wherein the employees employed in a housing society had a dispute with the management of the cooperative society, housing society, and the Supreme Court came out with a judgment that people residing together will not come within the purview of the term systematic activity. Now, same way, friends, the Tirupati Devasthanam judgment, which deals with the religious affairs, it was considered whether it would come within the purview or outside the purview of the term industry. In that case, the preparation of laddu was considered to be a systematic activity. Now, there was one more judgment of Rajasthan Cooperative Housing Society, where the society had certain gardens and there were trees. Now, from the trees, the coconut trees, there were some coconuts being sold. So, in that case, it was considered to be an industry. So, the main purpose is that the court needs to apply the triple test and check whether it satisfies the triple test. And after it is satisfied that a particular calling or an activity is coming within the purview, then it would become an industry. The moment it becomes an industry, it would make itself within the jurisdiction of the labor and industrial codes. Now, the second important aspect which has to be considered is the term workman. Now, the term workman, it is defined in section 2S of the Industrial Dispute Act. Now, a pilot is considered to be a workman because he is engaged in a technical work, whereas a manager of a hotel who is earning salary of more than 10,000 rupees and who is exercising supervisory functions will not come within the purview of the term workman. So, in order to come within the jurisdiction of the term labor and industrial code, there has to be an industry. Now, industry means satisfaction of the triple test, and the person needs to be a workman. Now, workman is defined under section 2S. Now, there are various judgments on these points. Now, a person who is engaging in a managerial post would not come within the purview. Now, there are a lot of judgments on this point. A person who has got independent decision making would not come within the parameters of a term workman. Now, there is one important case of Bombay Division Bench, wherein the case is Baljit Shyam versus Cricket Club of India, where I had personally appeared for this Cricket Club of India at that particular point of time. Now, there was a housekeeper, whether she can come within the purview of the term industry was decided. Now, the housekeeper had managerial and supervisory role. She had people working under her. So, the Labour Court came to a conclusion that the concerned employee, that is Baljit Shyam, would come outside the purview of the term industry, and the complaint was rejected. Later on, Baljit Shyam went to the industrial court because industrial court is the superintendence. It exercises superintendence in a complaint filed under MRT and PALP Act. Industrial court came to a conclusion that based on an appointment letter there was a clause mentioned in the appointment letter that Baljit Shyam, that is a concerned workman, would be covered under standing orders. Now, when an employee has been stated to be covered under the standing orders, it was held that she would come within the purview of workmen. Therefore, the Labour Court order was reversed. Later on, when the case went to the Bombay High Court, the Bombay High Court also reaffirmed this fact that if an employee is considered to be covered under the standing orders, then that employee will be considered to be a workman and would come under Section 2(s) of the Industrial Dispute Act. Therefore, friends, the issue as to whether a particular employee would come within the purview of workmen and therefore would come within the purview of Labour and Industrial Court or not is an issue of mixed law and facts. And there is no fixed formula to determine that a particular person would be a workman or a particular unit would become an industry. It is a fact-finding exercise. It is an adjudication process. So all these aspects would determine whether a particular litigation or a dispute would come within the scope of industry, that is whether it would come within the scope of Labour Court or Industrial Court, and that has to be a issue of mixed law and facts. Based on this, Labour judiciary or the litigation is also having a lot of precedents. So precedents also helps us in coming to a conclusion whether a particular instance can be determined to be inclusive or exclusive. Now, there was one case of one Mr. There was a Deutsche Bank, there was a fraud. Now in that instance, the employees who were involved in the fraud, they were suspended and an inquiry was conducted. Now Deutsche Bank had branches outside Mumbai, so a multi-state banks will not be covered under the MRTO and Pulp Act. They would go under the Industrial Dispute Act, where the jurisdiction, the appropriate government being central government. For banks, central government is the appropriate authority. In that case, banks, banks, shipping companies, airways, all these sectors, that particular sectors would be tried in a court called Central Government Industrial Tribunal. Similarly, you have something called as CAT. CAT means Central Administrative Tribunal. Now, CAT deals with central government employees. It is a summary proceedings. And you have something called as MAT, which is Maharashtra Administrative Tribunal. Now, because I thought I'm dealing with Labour and Industrial Courts, I've also tried to cover up and tell you what are the other areas of litigation which is coming within the service law. And the other important aspect which is coming under the service law is the school tribunal and the college tribunals. An employee who is covered under the MEPS Act, a teacher, appeal can be filed in the school tribunal under Section 9. And as far as a college tribunal, again, employed by a person by college goes to a college tribunal, case goes to a college tribunal. So friends, I have tried to give you a broad perspective as to what is a labor court, what is an industrial court, what is an industry, who is a workman, and what is the jurisdiction of central government industrial tribunal, and what could be the jurisdiction of a central administrative tribunal, what is MAT, that is Maharashtra Administrative Tribunal, and what is a school tribunal, and what is a college tribunal. So with this I am closing my thoughts. And friends, thank you very much. And in case of any other queries or questions, you can write to the organizer, that is Disha Foundation. I thank Ms. Karnik for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.